Mastering application security audits. Our organization's application security audit lacks a clear purpose and scope, leaving vulnerabilities unexposed. Where is the purpose and scope of the application security audit that our organization is seeking to conduct explicitly defined, and what specific areas of the application or system will its thorough examination and evaluation focus on to identify potential vulnerabilities and weaknesses? The purpose and scope of the application security audit that our organization is seeking to conduct should be explicitly defined to ensure that all stakeholders are aligned and aware of the objectives, boundaries, and expectations of the audit. This definition will guide the entire audit process, ensuring that the examination and evaluation of the application or system are thorough and comprehensive. The purpose of the application security audit is to identify potential vulnerabilities and weaknesses in the application or system, assess the risks associated with these vulnerabilities, and provide recommendations for remediation and mitigation. The audit will focus on evaluating the security posture of the application or system, identifying areas that require improvement, and ensuring compliance with relevant security standards, regulations, and best practices. The scope of the application security audit should be clearly defined to ensure that all aspects of the application or system are examined and evaluated. The scope should include, but not be limited to, the following areas. 1. Application architecture. The audit will examine the overall architecture of the application, including the design, structure, and interactions between different components. This will help identify potential vulnerabilities in the application's architecture, such as insecure data storage or transmission, and ensure that the application is designed with security in mind. 2. Code review. A thorough review of the application's source code will be conducted to identify potential vulnerabilities, such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, XSS, or cross-site request forgery, CSRF. This will help identify areas of the code that require improvement, such as input validation, error handling, and secure coding practices. 3. Configuration and patch management. The audit will evaluate the application's configuration and patch management practices to ensure that all components are up to date and securely configured. This will help identify potential vulnerabilities in the application's configuration, such as misconfigured servers, outdated software, or inadequate logging and monitoring. 4. Data protection. The audit will examine the application's data protection practices, including data storage, transmission, and processing. This will help identify potential vulnerabilities in data protection, such as insecure data storage, inadequate encryption, or unauthorized data access. 5. Authentication and authorization. The audit will evaluate the application's authentication and authorization mechanisms, including user identity management, access controls, and password policies. This will help identify potential vulnerabilities in authentication and authorization, such as weak passwords, inadequate session management, or insufficient access controls. 6. Input validation and sanitization. The audit will examine the application's input validation and sanitization practices to ensure that user input is properly validated and sanitized to prevent attacks such as SQL injection or XSS. 7. Error handling and logging. The audit will evaluate the application's error handling and logging practices to ensure that errors are properly handled and logged to prevent attackers from exploiting vulnerabilities. 8. Secure communication. The audit will examine the application's secure communication practices, including the use of secure protocols, such as HTTPS, and secure communication channels, such as encrypted APIs. 9. Third-party components. The audit will evaluate the application's use of third-party components, including libraries, frameworks, and services, to ensure that they are securely integrated and up to date. 10. Compliance and regulations. The audit will examine the application's compliance with relevant security standards, regulations, and best practices, such as OWASP, PCI DSS, HIPAA, or GDPR. The thorough examination and evaluation of these areas will help identify potential vulnerabilities and weaknesses in the application or system, assess the risks associated with these vulnerabilities, and provide recommendations for remediation and mitigation. The findings and recommendations from the audit will be documented in a comprehensive report that will be used to improve the application's security posture and reduce the risk of security breaches or incidents.